in a moment at halftime where we had a lot of guys with defeated, I shouldn't say a lot, we had some guys with defeated body languages. Those two guys came out in the second half and took on ownership and provided the up. You can't be any good if you got guys on the court that are playing with dropped shoulders and dropped heads. And those two guys gave us energy. And because of their energy, then other people played with energy. And so it was good to see. And good win. I mean, first half, you shoot 20% from the field, then your defense better be great. And we allowed missing shots to disengage us from the defensive end.
How comfortable do you feel with TJ as your point guard going forward?
I'm a lot more comfortable with Noah Fernandez as my point guard, but it's TJ. I wasn't happy. I haven't been happy since Noah went down. I've not been happy with our point guard play, and I'm not trying to. Two guys that have never done it before, and it's not like we've been playing Peter and Paul. We've been playing like really good teams, and playing away from home, and they both have different challenges to be able to play better to help us, and that's their journey. But yesterday, after the second half of the North Texas game, I said I can't go into another game and not have somebody else ready to go if our point guards aren't playing better. And we tried our best yesterday to prepare TJ, give him credit. He was gung-ho, and he had no idea what he was doing out there, especially against that junk defense that they were throwing at us in the half-court trap, because we didn't get to cover that with him at the point. But, again, energy, uplifting, courage, makes everybody else play a little bit better.
TJ and DeAndre, when they were both just in here, talked about them kind of trying to bring the energy up at halftime. What did you hear them say to the rest of the team at the half?
Yeah, I don't mean to avoid your question, but I don't go in. When I go in there, I'm the one talking. I'm not hanging out in there while they're talking. So I don't know what they said, but if they said that's what they did, I'm not surprised, because that's how they played in the second half. And and that's you got to have courage, man, to go make plays. And you can't stand around and wait for plays to be made. You got to have courage to go make them, and those guys did. They gave us and no surprise that because of the courage about making some shots and actually trying to execute what was called and playing with some aggression rather than this passiveness, all of a sudden our defense got good again. And, that's what happens.
With Isaac Conte at the start today over Wildens, what did you see at him today that kind of either impressed you, and DeAndre Dominguez coming off the bench, what kind of those two that you see today that, was very encouraging moving forward, just in settling the center spot?
Yeah, we're battling. I didn't want to say it before the game today because and people say, oh, there you go, an excuse as to why they didn't win. We had the flu hit our team the week leading into North Texas. Matt Cross missed 3 days of practice. DeAndre missed 1 day of practice. Tafaro missed 1 day of practice. We've been battling it right now, and that's part of the deal. You don't say those things after a loss and expect anyone to accept them. That's the reality of what we were dealing with last week. Well, now these guys Dartmouth is dealing with it, and Wildens got sick. He started feeling bad warming up for the North Texas game, and then when we got home, he had 102 fever or something like that, and he didn't practice for the last 2 days. He got cleared at shoot-around today because his fever broke last night. If you got fever, you can't play. But his fever broke last night, so he tried to shoot around. He wasn't, typical Wildens. He was like, hey, I'll play, but I don't know the scouting report. I'm like, Wildens, you've been in college for 100 years, man. I mean, but Isaac's got to play with more energy, man. I mean, Isaac's a man. He's a career 9.5 rebound a game guy. He's averaging 3 rebounds a game for us. You know, we need him to play with more energy, and he did that early in the year for us. And for whatever reason, he's not doing that right now. And he did in the second half, and guess what happened? He found the ball. Funny how that works. You put a little energy, and the ball finds you. And you know, we need him. Isaac's a good player. We need him to play better, and you know, we obviously got to help him play better to utilize him as an offensive weapon.
Through 12 games in a full non-conference slate, what are some things you've learned about your team?
We got really good dudes. They're trying really hard to do what I ask them to do. We've created a defensive personality that I think we're taking pride in, and that's hard to do because we don't play a little 2-3 zone and just stand around. You know, it requires a lot of all 5 guys playing with unbelievable effort, discipline, and aggression. And because if one guy cracks, it puts everyone else in a tough spot. And they fought to create that. We've grown there. Now, ever since we lost Noah, we've lost our offensive identity a little bit. You know, our offense is designed to flow around. If you're coaching football and you're designing your offense around your wide receiver, you're probably not going to last as a coach very long. You know, everything's around your quarterback. Well, the same way in basketball, everything's around your point guard. Whoever's going to be your point guard, you got to design the offense to fit that person's the talents. So we got to utilize this break to take a deep breath. Everybody, players, coaches, because we've been pushing really hard. Think about how many games we've played away from home, and think about our record. We've played some really good teams, and we lost our point guard 5 games ago. And you know, not pretty, not perfect, but really proud of who we're fighting to become. And then when we get back from Christmas, now we have to hunker down and start recreating an offensive identity right now, and keep building. You got to keep chipping away, man, one day at a time.
Does your preparation change now once you head into conference play because the schedule's more regular?
No. You just get into a routine, you know. So what happens is, you know that you're playing Saturday, and so you know your day off is a certain day, so you know how to manage things a little bit better. Like a couple times, we've had to prepare for games with one. We've had 2 1 week. I felt like a football coach for 2 weeks there. You know, 7 days between games. And then we've had 2 other weeks where we had to only use 1 day to prepare for a team because we had 3 games in too short a window, and you're required to take days off. And now with conference play, you get into the 2 practices play, 2 practices play, 2 practices play. So hopefully that helps us as a team.
Are you pretty happy with where this group is, I mean, record-wise, accomplishment-wise, and where you thought they would be from day 1 to now?
Yeah, I'm not a very good. I'm not very good at predicting the future. I got no, you know, you're dealing with people, we're all different. I got no idea how we're all going to handle things. So I felt good about our talent before the season. I felt good about the guys on the team, but I didn't know how guys are going to manage the daily responsibilities of work, academics, the socially, the pressure to perform by me and by the people in their lives that pressure the heck out of them to play better. I don't know how they're going to manage that. I haven't been through them. So I try not to look at the schedule and say, like, hard. No, I think they're all hard. That's my opinion. And I don't get wrapped up in records. I guess winning 9 of 12 with so many games away from home is a pretty good deal. The time that we went somewhere and they put a trophy on the table, we went in there and won the trophy. That's not easy to do. We got to play better at home. I'm not happy with how we play at home. I don't know why. I got to figure that one out, and that's something we have to address internally. But I've told you guys from the word go, I really like this team, and my opinion hasn't changed there. We got 2 or 3 guys that need to. I think this break will be good for them. They got to hit the reset button and figure out a way to uplift their spirits. because if they don't, then there's 2 or 3 guys that me and them ain't gonna get along for much longer. But that's their journey, and it's my job to help them change that spirit.
All right, go ahead, last question.
What improvements have you seen from DeAndre Dominguez since you got hired here?
Yeah, just attention to detail, man. You can't live life, you just show up. Just showing up doesn't do anything. You gotta actually put in work, you gotta be committed to structure, you gotta be held accountable and accept being held accountable. And he's done all of that. And, you know, and I keep telling us, instead of just floating around the 3-point line, just trying to shoot threes, man, like utilize some of that inner grit that you have and athleticism and make plays for this, you know, as a player, like at the rim, and he's grown there. I mean, you saw he made a big-time flash inside the zone for a little pull-up shot that we've been begging for all game. Well, he finally went out and did it. Not just him, everybody. He went in and did it, made a big-time play there, made a big-time little half hook, like in that same area, right when we were making our run. That's a courage I was talking about. But I'm proud of Dre. He's still nowhere near where he needs to be. I had to take him out of the game today because he's wrapped up talking to the other team and then messes up the defensive assignment because he's in his own personal battle, and that's the stuff he's got to stop, you know. But I got to help him there. But when he plays as hard as he does and he's as committed to listening to me as he is, I got to keep dealing with him from an accountability standpoint, but keep trusting in him for the next play. And that's the journey that we're in right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Coach.